So in today's session, or yesterday, we have started something called as BCM.js. BCM.js. So we have created the project, right? We have created the project, and how do you start the project? Remember that yesterday I told you this thing. You will not open this HTML into the browser. You will not open this HTML into the browser. Not needed, because we are using a dedicated server or a dedicated utility that helps you in working with what? The HTML project. And which tool we are using? Vite. Which tool we are using? A Vite. This tool is helper utility. I'm repeating myself again. You don't need this tool to build the projects, to work with the projects. Without that also you can create the project the way you have built the HTML project for this, right? And we were opening the link in the browser. Do you remember this or not? So far we were doing this thing, reveal in Finder and open this, and we were doing this thing, correct? This is the bad way. This is not how actually a production server works, or production level projects doesn't work in this way. Now what do they do? How do they work? Let's go to the, okay, so how do they work? There is one application server, and on the application server you host the applications. Well, we are going to see that later on. How do you host the applications? We have an application server, and on the application server we host the applications. Yes or no? So presently there is no application server. You are just giving link to the browser, and you are saying, hey browser, can you open this file? And browser knows the HTML, that's why it is working. So this is not the hosting. This is not what the hosting is. Then what is this? You are simply opening HTML file into the browser. For learning purpose, this is okay. But whenever if you want to build the applications, a real-time application, this HTML and all the HTML pages need to be hosted on one web server, HTTP server, one web server, right? These things need to be hosted on one of the web server, and Vite gives you a local web server. So if you go to the package.json, you can run it in the dev mode. So here if you can go, so cd, now what we will do, let's create a new folder. Here let's create a new folder, and BCM project, and into this BCM project let's copy, or let's open this into the Finder, find in folder, sorry, reveal in, here we can say reveal in Finder. So this is BCM.js. So all the content I will just copy, and merge stack, and I will add it to this thing. Okay, so a.js, b.js, we don't need it. Yesterday I have given the example. Even the counter.js also we don't need it, right? Even the main.js also we don't need it. But we created this dashboard thing, this thing, correct? Hello? Now we have shifted those files to here, BCM project and dashboard and login. Now let's go to the CD BCM project. So we went to this thing, and remember that this is the node project, which means that this is for me only, not for you guys. Use nvm 18. This is for me, sorry, nvm use. This is not for you. I have installed multiple node versions on my machine, that's why I'm needing this thing, but you don't need this thing. And here we can say npm run dev. See, we have seen this. So scripts can be run. So this script dev we are running. So npm run is a standard thing, and this name can be anything, abc, pq, or whatever. Npm run dev. It will start a local development server. Can you see local development server? So you can copy this URL and paste it in the browser. Instead of this link, you can paste it in the browser. And there is nothing in the beginning. /login you can say, and login.html. Can you see here? So on the local web server, on the local HTTP server, web server, presently you can just call it as web server. So on the local web server, right? So these HTMLs are getting loaded and served. Can you see here? Localhost stands for it's a local server. 5173 stands for the port, and this login /login stands for the folder. Can you see inside the folder there is a login.html. Inside that login folder there is a login.html. So local server, port, this is the folder, this is optional. So straight away on this thing you can add it. Now we have seen designing. So you need to design this login screen in this way. So why this is not opening, I don't know, but it should open. Just, yeah, can you see the login screen should look like this? Can you design it? We have studied, or I have given this project as a homework to you. I have designed few screens and I have asked you to complete few screens, right? So email, password, okay. Now can you see, yesterday we created something called as form, and we have ended the lecture. Form, a HTML tag, form. Whenever you need to submit the data, remember that this HTML is getting loaded in the browser. This HTML is getting loaded into what? Browser. So there would be actual server which would be going to the DB. Now that part we will study in the Node.js. How do you create the backend? So this is the front end. How do you communicate with the backend? How do you pass data to the backend? We will see. But the HTML, so whatever you have done is the front end. Whatever you have done so far, it's the front end. Now I want you to design this screen. I want you to design this screen. You can design this screen in any ways, right? Login, sign in to continue, email, then this, all this thing in login button. So I will not invest my time in designing, because we have studied in detail how designing works. We have designed a lot of pages, social media pages and other things. So email, password, and the OK. Now form handling. Now we need one JS file. Can you see login.js file? And I will create one more file, handle, or we can say login form.js. login form.js. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Give me some time. Okay. Am I audible? Is the response? So we have imported this. Remember that we have imported this login. So technically we import a main file into the login, into your this page, and rest of the files, form, login form.js, that we will import over here. Yesterday we have seen this thing, right? Import login, or let's have a function. First write a function, export, we can say handle form, or 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 handle form. Let's say handle form, export function handle form, and here we will be getting one event. Now I need to remember that there is one over here, there is one event on submit. So whenever you click on the submit button, this function would be getting called, handle form. Can you see that? Handle form. We have seen something called as event handling. Whenever you click on the submit button, or we can say login here, whenever you click on the submit button, what I'm saying, whenever you click on this submit, so input type is submit and name is login. If you go here, see, you don't need to refresh it. Actually, you don't need to actually refresh it on submit. Okay, any error, just go here and check if you have any error. Pre-transform error, failed to load the URL main.js. Does it exist? Okay, we have deleted the main.js, and that is the concern it is saying. Just stop it and again run npm run dev and refresh it. Login.html, well, we have changed it, but still it is showing okay. What's the reason? Login.html, close the dashboard, close these things. Whatever files are needed, just keep those files open. We have changed input type submit. Okay, BCM project, billing counter management project. This is the BCM project. We are in a BCM project. npm run dev, npm run dev, which means that we went into this folder and we're saying that 5173. Might be caching related issues are there. So you can go to the login. Why it is showing okay, I don't know. Let's check into the console or in the elements. Body, login.js, form tag. So here it is showing okay. What's the reason? Okay, this is the reason. We need to change this HTML. We don't have a main.js here, and that is the reason it is showing you an error. Now let's run it again. Npm run dev. Well, you don't need to do that thing, but still it is showing okay. Login.html. Okay, fine, no problem. We will see that on submit handle form. Okay, and let's console or I will write one thing. If you see the behavior, if I click on the OK, page is getting refreshed. Yes or no? I'm clicking on the OK, page is getting refreshed. Hello? Can you see that behavior? I'm clicking on OK, page is getting refreshed. So first what we are trying to do, whenever you click on the login, one event get fired. And what is that event? And what is that event? On submit event. On what? Submit event. So which event gets fired? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes.
Which event? On submit. So in the HTML, events are handled in this way. There are multiple ways to handle, but event can be handled on tag itself. So you have form tag, and on the form tag you have written the name of the event, right? Where do you get which element throws which event? Where do you get that? You can get it in the MDN documentation, right? Now here you are saying that, so here you are saying that whenever you click on this submit button, one event would be fired, and once that event is getting fired, please call this function, right? Please call this function. So we need to import, what you can say, we need to import that function from login.js, login form.js. We have written it in the login form.js. And which function you need to call? Handle form. Import from keyword is missing. So handle form. Okay. So we have written it over here, handle form. And I will write one code over here, e dot prevent default. E dot prevent default. What do you mean by prevent default? Prevent default means, e dot prevent default means the behavior of the submit button. Whenever you click the submit button, what I'm saying, whenever you click the submit button, right, still this is not working. So first way of handling event I have shown you like this. What is the default behavior of the submit button? It refreshes the page. If you see, still it is refreshing the page, but I don't want to refresh the page. I want to change the default behavior. Okay, so for that we have written the prevent default. So here you can handle the DOM event. You can handle the DOM event by writing the event name and assigning the function in this way. This is a one thing. I will comment this out. You can handle the event in this way by writing a name of the event and assigning the particular function. Now another way, let's give a ID, and here we can say LGN FRM, LGN FRM. Now go here, and here what we can do, const form or login form or LGN FRM is equals to document dot get element by ID, and here we need to give ID LGN FRM. And now to this LGN FRM or is equals to handle form. So this handle form function you have written inside this. Well, you can write this over here like this. Here you can write a lambda e arrow, this thing, and inside this e dot prevent default, e dot what, prevent default. Now refresh it. No, something is not working actually. Login.js is a type module. Now here you can open the login.js also. Here login.js. Can you see something else you can see? But this is the same file, trust me. We'll talk about this. So login.html. My question is that, okay, let's open it in the private window, localhost 5173 / login.html. No, still it is rendering okay. So BCM.js actually, oh, it's a silly mistake. No, we are in a BCM project only. BCM project, which means this, it is this is the index.html, package.json. If you can go inside this, just close. Now see, something is not happening. Close all, go to the login and open the login HTML. And can you see here is the OK, and you were making changes inside this guy BCM.js, and that's why it was not working. So you were, can you see here you have written, this is the silly mistake, right? This is the silly mistake. You are running a separate project, and that's why just delete whatever unwanted is. So inside this again, say open new file, sorry, login.html, and here let's give ID is equals to LGN FRM and submit. Sorry, here name is login. So type module, we already have done that in a login.js. Now const LGN FRM is equals to document dot get element by ID, and here LGN FRM. Okay, and here now another way to assign the event, LGN FRM dot on submit, instead on the element assign the event. Here you can straight away write this, and now see e dot prevent, PREVENT default, prevent default. Now go here. Now it is not working because I think we didn't run it. run the project, npm run dev, refresh it. Now can you see it is login, and can you see now it is not refreshing the page. Now if I comment this out, and can you see now it is refreshing the page. So e dot prevent default prevents the default behavior, of the form submission. What is the default behavior of the form submission? Refreshing the page. What is the default behavior of the form submission? Hello?
Refreshing page.
Refreshing the page. And we have stopped that behavior. And how did you stop it? You have stopped it by means of handling the event. There are two ways of handling event. Just write the name of the event over here. Write the name of the event over here. Write name of the event and assign the function. And that particular function will be getting called. Another way, point out that element by means of document.getElement by id. Point that element out by means of document.getElement by id. Point that element by means of document.getElement by id, and instead writing event on the element itself, you do that thing in a JS part, right? Both are same, but here you get more control. So first you are saying that do not refresh the page. Now what? So whatever you have typed over here, that you get over here. So e dot. Now if you console this e, what is this e actually? The parameter e. Console.log e. Okay, you don't need to refresh it again and again. Remember that we are having a dev server. Now just type something, and can you see you get a submit event. You get what? Submit event. Just explore that event. Submit event, submitter input, source element, target element is the form, LGN form, and can you see there are three inputs. This is the zeroth input. Zeroth input is nothing but what your zeroth in. There are three input fields. Can you see if I hover over here? Can you see there it is getting selected? First selected, second selected, third selected. Can you see first selected, second selected, third, which means that this is an array. Which means that this is an array. And this is the on submit event, the function you have written. That function you can see over here. And there are a lot of other things, right? And there are a lot of other things. But here, if you see, I want to read what you can say. Now this is the question. How should I read the data? Now let's go to the ChatGPT and let's ask ChatGPT. So let's go to our form. If this is my form, this is my form, and if this is my form and this is my JS, this is my JS, I want to read form control values. Please suggest the code. Please complete the code. Okay. LGN form. Can you see? LGN form dot elements email dot value. See here how it is happening. Now see now. So this E is that event that is getting triggered on the click, and that event is having all the details. Now see, accessing the control values means I want to read value of this input, I want to read value of this thing, you need to make some changes. Can you see name attribute you need to attach? Name attribute, name attribute. Let's go here and add one more thing. We need to give this element name, and here we can say email. And similarly, this element name we need to give password. Okay, and here const email is equals to e dot elements. Now if you see here, submit, there is something called as, okay, e dot elements. I think this is wrong. ChatGPT has given wrong thing. Let us see this works or not. LGN form dot elements. Okay, not on the e but on this LGN form dot elements, and we need to access the elements by means of the element name email dot value const. This is a variable, this can be anything. LGN form dot password, and here we can say console dot log email, and here email password and the password. See, you don't need to refresh it. I'm not refreshing it, straight away type it, login. Can you see email is s whatever and password is whatever. So we have created our own form, and that form we have read the data from the form. We have read the data from the form. What we have done? So this is the form. Form means what? A form. Whenever you want to read the data or whenever you want to pass the data to the server, your backend. So this is the front end. Whenever you want to pass the data from front end to the back end, first we need to read the data from the HTML, and the precise way of reading the data from the HTML is the form tag. So what we have seen today we have seen form tag. Today we have seen event handling. In a JavaScript, you can handle the event either by writing event name on the element, or by what you can say over here, or by doing something like this over here. Now, so you have written this code over here, that is good. But what architecture says is that this file shouldn't have this code. So here we can say form handling dot js, form handling dot js. So here we will write a function, export function handle login, and here there would be e, and whatever code you have written, handle login, and whatever code you have written over here, just copy all that code, paste it over here, and inside this you will just import that function, import from form handling, and name of the function handle login. You will assign handle login over here. So this is the correct way, because this file needs to be clean, and all the things you need to write, that would be in the separate utilities. Now again go here and type something here, login, same thing is working, there is no problem, right? Yesterday we have seen what do you mean by modules. Yesterday we have seen something called as modules, import and export. And today we actually utilize that. So login is a main module. Into that you can import these things. Correct? Hello?
Yes.
Now what is your task? So I will push this much code. You will add the CSS to these things. You will add the CSS to these things. Okay. Now on the successful login, so I will simply write if email is exactly equals to ABC and password is exactly equals to PQR, right? We need to go to another file, window.location, and which thing, dashboard. We need to navigate to this guy, dashboard.html. HTML. So here, so you are in the login folder. You are in the login folder. From login, you need to go to this folder. Let us see what happens. ABC and ABC. Nothing is happening. Just go to the upper folder. Upper folder means you are in the login. You will go to the upper folder, dashboard, dashboard.html. I hope spellings are correct. Now let's check ABC. ABC. What is happening? If exactly equals to ABC. Okay, and password is PQR. I'm sorry. Let's write PQR. Login. Can you see? You are shifting from one page to another page. You are now, if password something else, it will not happen. But if PQR and then click on the login, you will go to the dashboard page. Now at least 2 screens you can do, because in the last HTML and CSS homework, whenever we completed HTML, CSS, at that time you completed the login screen, at that time you completed the dashboard. And today you got to know how to perform the navigation. So pieces of puzzles are getting solved. Now what is this window.location? Window.location is this address bar. Is this what? Address bar. So if you want to change the URL by means of the script, you will do something. So what you are doing here, you are just checking if email is ABC and password is PQR. Just what you can say, window.location to this HTML. Correct? Hello?
Yes.
Is that clear?
Can we create a repeat again?
Can we create what?
CSS and HTML.
Yeah, you can create CSS and HTML over here. Your login.css, login.html, right? And you can modify this code as per you need. You getting my point? So I will push this much code, and here we can say login flow and JavaScript. Correct? I have pushed the code. Today we'll stop here, and tomorrow we will see something interesting. Correct? Any questions, team? Hello?
Can we copy the file?
Copy the file means?
CSS and HTML.
No problem. You can add the HTML content as you want. Okay? And the CSS part you can copy paste, no problem, because you already have done it. What is change in your new thing? The form tag is there, right? In the earlier case there was no form tag. ID is there. These names are not there. You need to add it, and the JS file. Correct? Now you need to add all these things. And if you have completed your project in the HTML and CSS, other batch members, you can refer her project. Okay, you can add a link of your project over here, a link of your Git repository. Hello, in the chat box you can paste a link of your Git repository where you have completed HTML and CS. You can do it now. Other members, you can copy paste that part. Okay, I'm stopping the recording.